welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Camper, and there's another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Today is finally the day. I promised it would happen. It took some time, but millions of silver and some creative thinking, plus the love and care and attention of deadwoodjedi.com, I've finally been able to put Whisper into a comp for an Ultra Nightmare key, and I haven't run this yet. I did do a test, but I suspect this is going to be a pretty crazy key considering all the parameters we had to meet. So let's meet the team. We'll go through the run, we'll watch the run, and then after that I'll go through the gear and the masteries of mainly Whisper, because the rest of the team I didn't even min-max, so this is not even peak potential. But let's go in here. We'll go into Ultra Nightmare. And here's the team here. And it is a Deacon-led double man-eater team. Unlike the Seeker team. See, the problem we had here is, how do we showcase Whisper? How do we let Whisper pop off? Well, first off, it has to be a comp that's friendly to extra turns, because Whisper has extra turns. She has an A3 that does extra turns, possibly. She has a 10% just to do extra turns. So we needed one of those comps, and the dual man-eater, the bad eater, all those combinations absolutely fit the bill. The problem with most of them, including the bad eater and all its variations, is we were missing debuffs. We weren't able to get defense down and use Whisper. Whisper has a weaken, percentage chance off for A1, but that defense down is where all the damage lies, and if we can't put a defense down, what do? Enter Deacon. So Deacon now is the lead. The lead also brings the requirement of the speed down a little bit. Then we put in Whisper with it. Double man-eaters, pain keepers, that the whole thing that I call it a drifting champion. So she has an A1 that pops off a 10% boost, which allows her to jump in and disrupt the last little turn on that clan boss so that you can get those 2-to-1 turns. But this is the team we're going to do. It is not 100% auto. You do have to do some setup, but we're okay doing a little setup for this run. So what we'll do is I'll run the setup here, and then after that I'll disappear and we'll run the key, and then we'll show you the gear that we're particularly using. Pay particular attention to what Whisper does and the damage she's doing, the numbers she's doing, and the opportunity she has to do this. I did a little baby test yesterday, not even in the same gear, just for the numbers. And let me tell you what, in spite of the fact oh, I'm allergic to amazingness. In spite of the fact that it was actually magic affinity, which means Deacon was weak hitting, which means he wasn't putting defense down all the time, and he himself wasn't doing any damage, the key was pretty okay. So we're gonna see what happens with this. Now, this is 0 poison. I have no one in toxic gear. I have not min-maxed the man-eaters, the pain keeper. I gave Deacon, just for giggles, I put him in the new savage type, the drop savage. I don't remember what it's called. Lethal, is it? No, I don't remember. Whatever the one that drops out of the Doom Tower, but it's not min-maxed. He's not min-maxed. She is. I did min-max her as best as I could with the requirements needed, I think, anyway. So let's get in there. I'll stop talking. No, I won't. That's a lie. You know it's a lie. We all know it's a lie. Okay, so the setup is a little bit, there's a 3-turn setup, or 3-round setup. And you don't need to use A2. I actually turn off the A2s when it goes to auto, but just, why not? Whatever. So we're going to go A2 with him. We're going to go A2 with him. You could probably use A1 as well. And then the pain keeper, we're going to set that going. Deacon, we're gonna debuff. Whisper, we're gonna put up her crit. Now she's not. Well, see, she's already getting extra turns, and she's already. This is a perfect example, right? See how many extra turns she gets. It gets silly. So after Whisper, now this is 2nd round. So now the fast man eater is gonna use as A1. He's going to use his A1. She's going to use her A2. He's going to use his A1. Yep. Oh, look, an extra turn, everybody. Okay. Now he's going, he's ready to go. He's got to take an extra turn so that they're off-centered, right? That makes sense. She's actually ready to go as well. He needs one more A1 here. And then we can just do that. And now he's ready to go. And all we got to do is get back around to Deacon. And he's ready to go. And Deacon, we're going to do the A2. And now we can auto. So let's come back. We'll see what kind of damage we do. And we'll talk about the kit and what to do next. Let that sink in. 52 million damage. No poisons. $52 million damage. That is the highest damage total I have ever achieved. Any champion, any comp. I've never tried the Infinity comp. I know Infinity comp, the numbers will get obscene. But that's more of a... That's a gadget. That's the team with the shield thing. That's a different beast. For unkillable teams, that is the most damage I've ever achieved from a single champion. Ever. I mean, I didn't know what the number was going to be. It was 32 million yesterday. And then I min-maxed her and put the same team out. Different affinity, right? Magic affinity would be an issue for this. But, okay, I'm going to come back on. Sorry, you can't even see Deacon's numbers. I'll do that. Yeah, so... well, I'll show you the stats and the champions gear in a minute here. But I just again, 52.3 million. Like, does Turvold? I think Turvold does 50 million. I think, right? I've had some 40 millions, right? We've had the 40 million club that I've found is not an expansive list. The 30 million club, there's quite a few options, right? Especially in the Demetha comp, where you can get multiple 30 million out of it. But a dual man-eater comp requires 4 champions. You only get 1 nuker. My Deacon is not min-maxed, but he is crit capped, and I did give him crit gear. So he's got some damage potential, and you see there 9.4. That could easily go another 5-6 million if I min-max them. The man-eaters have at least 5 million each in them, and I know that because I've used dual man-eater forever until I switched over to Demetha, and the 2 of them are not crit capped. So very low crit actually. So there's so much damage potential there. Painkeeper's relatively, because I didn't change a lot of her gear from when I was using her in the dual man-eater. Whereas the man-eaters I did change a lot, but her I didn't. So there's a little bit more room for her. Plus, one of those 4 champions should be in a toxic set to min-max damage, and that'll take care of the negative potential of Magic Affinity, where Deacon's going to struggle putting up that decreased defense buff for Whisper. Any other affinity, Deacon may not get the same amount of damage because he's strong affinity versus neutral affinity, but Whisper is gonna, every other affinity, this is her damage potential, and it's obscene, and it's beautiful, and it brings a tear to my eye, and I don't think anyone has ever done this before. I don't think anyone's ever done this before. I don't know what the highest damage is from a single champion. I don't know, but I gotta think that's up there for a single champion. I wish they had things where you could see the damage numbers like they do in the Hydra. I wish I could see, because I know we have a couple of Turvold users here. Look at Idolator still with the old fashioned and killing it. I know there's a Turvold. Yeah, so Josetta uses a Turvold here, and the Demetha comp of the Mythfu with Turvold is a good number. Also a non-poison. Typically you put Eris in a toxic set. So there's a non-poison damage dealer. But, you know, this is it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's obscene. So let's take a look at the team here, and I'll show you what I mean when I say they're not min-max. So first of all, we'll check them all, and then we'll talk Whisper last, right? So here's Deacon. He's 229 speed. His crit rate, see, I've got him overcapped. Crit damage is low. Accuracy is there for it. This was, but he does have 3k attack, and he is crit capped. So obviously, min-maxing this, we're going to push that attack up. We're going to keep that crit rate at 100. We're going to push that crit damage up. And we're actually going to bring that accuracy down to around 240. That's the sweet spot. So you can see there's plenty of room for him. The first man-eater, 279 speed. You can see his crit rate's 42. Obviously, you're going to want to push that up, and you can push his attack up. He doesn't need anything else. You see I have him with high defense because I was using him for other areas for a little while after I dismantled my dual man-eater, my bat-eater comp. So obviously tons of potential on the man-eater for damage. Same with the second man-eater, 56 crit rate. He's got too much accuracy. He was actually landing his decreased attack. I think they both were. Again, defense high. We need more attack. 256 speed is the key stat there. Painkeeper, we're not quite crit capped. We're at 98, 253 speed, 3500 attack. But this is pretty close to being min-maxed. You might have to sacrifice a little crit damage to get that crit rate or whatever, but that speed. And then finally the Whisper with 6213 attack, 201 speed, 79 crit rate. Remember, she only needs 70% crit rate. So we might even be able to play around with this a little more, but I'll show you why we couldn't or why we didn't. At 261 crit damage, her accuracy in that perfect sweet spot, 244. I don't have anything other than stopping these two from using Siphon, because I think Pummel does more damage than Siphon. Plus, I wasn't sure how because I don't have their booked for cooldown, and I wasn't sure if that would affect it. I don't suspect it does, but you never know with the AI. The Man-Eater might be like, if the moon's in the southern equinox and it's after the Festivus, then he'll use Siphon over each. You know how this game is, right? So I did that. But let's take a look now at Whisper and how I set her up. And there is, of course, I'm sure you've guessed it by now, but in case you haven't, she's in Relentless. She gets extra turns already, and she gets bonus damage versus bosses. And you put that all together, and I put her. I forced the. I used Hell Hades Optimizer. I forced it into Relentless and Cruel gear to try to min-max that extra damage going on, which surprises me that I'm using speed boots. I bet you if I pulled out of Cruel, I'd probably be able to get more attack, because I think I probably have some pretty good attack boots with some triple speed, that sort of thing, that might be able to push those numbers a little differently. But there again, we just wanted to look again, 6213, 201, 261. She's also, and I'd have to test around to see what blessing would be best for her. I thought this is good because it's giving her 20% bonus crit damage plus 400 attack. So that's a pretty big deal for extra damage. Plus there's a 100% chance of inflicting bonus damage, which I think was around 32,000 every single hit. And of course with the Relentless, it just stockpiles. Now you could argue, I think Cruelty is another one that she could use. It decreases the defense till the end of the round, and at level 5 it would decrease 2 per hit, up to 30% for champions, 15. So it'd be 15% decrease defense, which would help everyone. I don't know if that's gonna outpace the damage of Phantom Touch. It might be something worthwhile trying out. But and the other one would be Crushing Rend. Again, this first 2 hits of each round, that's not enough. No, that's not nearly enough, because it's only 1 round, so she'd only get that for 1. So I think Phantom Touch is the best one, but of course we can always test that down in another life. And then the masteries here, I was just avoiding. I was just kind of stacking damage as we normally do. So the reason why I have 100% full health instead of the 50% or less, because we are in an Unkillable, is because often she's healing herself up to full because there's a leech buff that is put on by Deacon. So 50% or less would only be the first hit, but after that she hits so hard she's healing herself right back up. So it's kind of pointless to put it in there. So that's why we're going with the 100%, because she's probably doing more damage, especially with the Relentless procs and her natural extra turns. Keep in mind, she has a 10% chance of granting extra turn whenever this champion lands a critical hit. So that's just boom. Plus she's getting that 20% extra on bosses. Then we've got this, tax one enemy 2 times, grants extra turn if the target is under decreased defense and weakened. That's why it was so important to get both of those in the same fight. And then you get this. This is just allows you to do 70% crit rate, because this is 100% uptime, and she's increasing her own attack by 50%. So it's a really, especially in this comp, a crazy good buff. And then finally, she's putting the weaken is, it has a 75% chance, so it's a reasonably good chance, especially once she gets moving and Relentless and she's getting extra turns. Overall, just an absolute, she's the GOAT. Granted, it's a very specific scenario. It's a lot harder to build than all these other scenarios. It's this is the only only comp I've ever been able to get her to successfully work in, because any other time she either runs through the buffs or through the Unkillable because of her natural extra turns. So so there's you are. I did bring it. Whisper, what do you think? Tell me, be honest. Did you expect her to break 50 million? I didn't expect her. I expected about 40-ish million, low 40s. But instead, we brought the hammer, and there you go. Thank you. This is Whisper crushing a 50 mil. She's the GOAT. It's crazy how much damage she can do against bosses, and people still tell me I'm crazy. Oh no, she's not that good. Yeah, no, that's how good she is. That's all I have to say about that. I think that's the end of the video. So I want to thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you. God, she's so good. She's my favorite champion. She's my favorite epic champion. She might. Ursula was kind of always my favorite. I think she's ahead of it. Sorry, I'm fanboying. I feel like I'm a little fanboy. Like I'd simp, but I can't give her. I'll just have to give Raid money, I guess. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you. As always, please be kind, be safe, and we'll see you in the next one.